guys, this is Noah from Elementor. Today I'll be giving you an overview of the section layout settings. These flexible settings enable you to design your page structure creatively. We'll go over the parameters one by one so you could build your website's page structures easily and quickly. Firstly, what is a section? A section contains the columns and widgets of your page. You can add a new section by clicking on the Add New Section button and choosing the structure you'd like to display it in, meaning the layout of its columns. Once the section is added to the page, you can add, duplicate, or delete columns by clicking on the column icon. And by clicking on the section icon, you can duplicate, save, or delete section itself. Now, when you click on the section icon, you have the Layout tab and the Style tab. We'll be going over the Layout tab. So we'll be working with this section, which contains two columns inside of it. So first we have the Stretch Section option. With this option, you could stretch out your section's background without regard to the theme's layout. So if I click here and yes, as you can see, the section's background has stretched out completely to the width of the screen. Next, we have the content width, with which you could set the width of the content within the section. Here you can choose boxed or full width. So for example, if I stretch out the section's background by clicking here and then select for content width, full width, see how the content automatically stretches out to the full width of the screen. And if I choose boxed, I could set the exact width of the content. You could set the default of the min width in the Elementor settings on the dashboard. Then we have the columns gap option. This is a great setting because it sets the width displayed between the columns content inside the section. To help you understand, I made here a full width section with two columns, each with a different background color. If you take a look at the columns here, you will see that every column has its gaps surrounding it, between the blue border of the contents and the dashed border of the column itself, as here you can see the background of the column, like between the edge of this map and the edge of the background here. By default, the gap width is set at 10 pixels, meaning every column has a 10 pixels gap surrounding it, which in total displays a 20 pixels gap between the two columns. You could also choose between no gap, which actually displays 0 pixels gap width, which means that the columns are touching without any gaps in between or surrounding them. Narrow, which is 5 pixels gap width around the columns. As you can see, it means that you have 10 pixels between the two columns here. And you have extended, which is 15 pixels. Wide, which is 20 pixels. And wider, which is 30 pixels, meaning 60 pixels in total between these two columns. Then you have height, which sets the height of the section's background. Here you could choose default, fit to screen, which displays it at the screen's height, or min height, where you could set the exact height of the section's background. Note that its minimum is at the height of the content displayed inside the section. Next, we have the column position, with which you could set the position in which the column inside the section is displayed. So if I set the height of the section background to fit to screen, and the column position is on stretch, as you can see, it's stretched all the way down to fit the section background. Now if I set the column position as top, it's displayed only on the top of the section background that is fit to screen. If I set it as middle, it's displayed in the middle of the section, and if I set it as bottom, it's displayed on the bottom. Now, say I set it as stretch, which brings us to the content position, with which you could set the position of the content inside the columns themselves. So now that the column position is stretched, if I set it as top, the content is already on the top of the section, so it stays the same. If I set it as middle, as you can see, the widgets, meaning the content, is displayed in the middle of the column. And if I set it as bottom, it's displayed on the bottom of the columns. And then you have the structure. I'll just move this back to min height. Okay. Now you could resize the columns width by dragging right here. However, if you want an exact percentage of the column's width, then you could choose here from these pre-made structures. And you could reset it to its original structure by clicking right here. Okay, those were the layout settings for this section. You could only imagine what amazing pages you can create with these flexible parameters. Next video, we'll be talking about the style options for this section. I hope you enjoyed this video. For more videos and tutorials, subscribe our YouTube channel or visit us at docs.elementor.com.